We are here in the little settlement of Moildra. This is on the north coast of Ynys Mon. I'm looking across at what could have been an old lifeboat station, but signs were long since gone time. But the view across the bay here is terrific. Looking back round the corner where we come from at Llanfairpg, and straight ahead in the middle now is Puppin Island. And once again Great Orme in the far distance. This is very, very nice. Very nice indeed. And of course the Lord and his wife wants to come where we are, so I'll just have a quick pan round and that'll be it. How do you fancy coming to live here? This I have to laugh at and add it on. Selfie spot. Share your experience with friends. And a dirty great big wheelie bin. Now there's funny for you, boy.
Unusual style for a church, coming up on a right hand side. so this is Bull Bay. Yeah, there's the port of Holyhead over to the right hand side there. The docks of Stena and Irish ferries are right next to each other, so I'd imagine one of them's a Stena and one of them's an Irish ferry. I would have thought, like most travel and tourism industries, they would have suffered quite heavily within the last 6 months. So Northern Ireland's back in lockdown, isn't it? So I know from here you can't go over to Northern Ireland, it just takes you straight over to Dublin port, but probably just freight, I would imagine they're mainly carrying now. The breakwater at the port is the longest in the UK and was built to create a safe harbour for vessels caught in stormy waters. Dawn French, comedian come actress, she was born in Holyhead.
Don't know if I can get on the station or not, but we'll have a look see. And you won't get around it this side. The trouble is with that name, you've got the two double L's together. So it's a and a and this station building is sadly rather run down. And at the moment is temporarily closed. You have to travel to Bangor. That's a shame. But you notice where the V comes before the A and the I, sometimes they will pronounce it wire and some people will say via. Here they give the via. So it's Llanfair Pwll Gwyngyll Gogerith Quien Drobl Llandudno Gogo Goch. And down there is a crossing. And by the looks of it, I'd say that's still a manned crossing, which is certainly, I can see what I'm doing, and it's certainly unusual, that's for sure. And this is a main line to Holyhead in that direction. There is the outlet. I'll go in there in a minute, but I won't film in there. It's busy at the moment. It's probably where the toilets are. So. But this is the old A5. So there's not so much traffic down here now as there used to be. But let's walk through here. Coming down to this clock. There's the clock and the War Memorial. There's still far too many people around. We'll walk in this direction for a little bit now. I seem to remember a statue of Lewis Carroll here. But either they've moved it, or I'm in totally the wrong place. However, I'm not going to worry too much about it. That is interesting though. Let's get in the shadow. One of the old road signs there, telling you how far to Holyhead and how far to Bangor. A piece of motoring history. This is, as I recall, the birthplace or one-time residence, and I'll check that out, of the Reverend Charles Dodson, otherwise known as Lewis Carroll. I'll put some more information up about that. And I'm just going to take a better look at the War Memorial, and now I'm going to take a wander over to the outlet. Nothing much more to film here at the moment, so I'll leave it there for now. Well, I think at this point I better explain about me and Lewis Carroll, bearing in mind that the last time I was here, but prior to coming here with Lynn about 11 years ago, was when I was in my very early teens, back in the 60s. Somehow or other, I got it into my head that not only was Lewis Carroll's real name the Reverend Charles Dodgson, which was, I now know is untrue, that was his father, but that there was a statue to him in LlandudnoPG. And to be honest, looking at it as I seem to remember it as a kid, somehow or other I think I've got the War Memorial clock confused with being a statue of Lewis Carroll, because that is the place where I remember seeing this statue. So somehow or other I've got it all wrong. As I said, the Reverend Charles Dodgson was Lewis Carroll's father. Lewis Carroll himself, although I think he was called Charles Dodgson, spent most of his life in Oxford, I believe. Now, where the connection with North Wales comes about, now I know, is that the family he befriended, the Liddell family, their young daughter Alice was the girl on whom he based Alice Through the Looking Glass, Alice in Wonderland, all that kind of thing. And they stayed at a building in Llandudno, which is now the St Tidno Hotel, back in around 1861, I think. And Lewis Carroll came and spent a part of his holiday there with them. And that is the connection between Llandudno and Lewis Carroll. There is no connection between Lewis Carroll and Ynys Mon. It's taken me 69 years to work that one out. The building that the Liddell family actually went on to buy, Penmoria, existed until 2008, when it was demolished, just as an aside. But this statue here, which does exist, overlooking the Menai Straits, is a statue of the Marquis of Anglesey, and 27 metres high, or 320 to 60 to 80 odd feet high, if you like old money. He lost a leg at the Battle of Waterloo, I believe, and this statue was erected in his memory. It's made of limestone, Carboniferous limestone, from the quarry at Moylvre, which we shall see, or you've already seen, in actual fact, haven't you? Because I'm filming this back to front. Yes, you've already seen the little seaside village of Moylvre, but it still produces Carboniferous limestone of a very high quality, and that was used to make this statue. So there you are. I've now set the record straight. You're never too old to stop learning, are you? And here is our trusty steed, sitting outside of James Pringle Weavers of Anglesey. Now, I don't know, I'm guessing that it was their idea to open this little outlet here. It's been here for quite some time now, 25 years or more. But quite what it does for the socio-economic value of LlandudnoPG, I have absolutely no idea. It doesn't really highlight much in terms of what's made in Wales, only perhaps the textiles. You walk around and one of the first things you notice is Scottish fudge, iron brew stuff, Scottish whisky, and masses and masses and masses of Scottish shortbread. What's Welsh about that? There are Welsh beers there that you can buy, and you can buy Welsh whisky. But apart from that, there's not an awful lot there that's Welsh that I could see, apart from the usual tatty souvenirs that that you pay through the nose for and have probably been manufactured in China or somewhere ridiculous like that. So on the other side of the road you've got a hot and cold snack bar, and you've got a little cafe, a place that sells ice cream, and a pub. So I guess they do a certain amount of business. But other than that, and if the people employed in this place do live here, apart from the rates to the local council, it's very difficult to see what really beneficial effect this has. But it certainly puts the place on the map, and I don't suppose you can blame James Pringle for doing their little bit, cashing in on the fact that it's the longest place name and making money out of it. So there we go. And with that really brings us virtually to the end of our visit to North Wales. We'll get back on the coach in a minute and head back to Llandudno, and our last dinner, last night's sleep, a long ride home tomorrow.
Bridge. You get a much better view of looking over to the left now of the Menai Suspension Bridge. Of course, designed by Thomas Telford, completed in 1826, and it's one of the first modern suspension bridges in the world. See a little boat, a couple of boats out there navigating the strait. As I said, the little island, Waibait Island, is only accessible by boat. The earliest known document relating to the island dates from 1590, when it was listed as belonging to the Diocese of Bangor, which leased it for £3 and a barrel of herrings a year, as the island was used as a fishing trap. During high tides, fish would swim into the trap set near the island. The catch would then be collected at subsequent low tide.
Well, it's a very quiet evening here on the promenade in Llandudno. The last evening I had hoped that I would catch the last rays of sunlight on the little lawn, but The lady who comes round to take the breakfast order was late. So I think that opportunity has escaped me this time. There's still a bit of brightness up behind the hill there. Maybe as I walk down here, a couple of vestiges of light might get over there. Mr. Moon. That's it. But it's so quiet. You can tell we're at the end of the season. Such season as it's been able to be because of COVID. If this was the middle of the main tourist season, this promenade would be heaving, and I think if things were normal there would be a lot more people here, but with Wales closing down bit by bit, coach companies, I do know, are cancelling holidays to Wales. So if I had been due to come this week, what's this? Can't even have a quiet walk on the prom without vans. Yes, I think if we'd have been due to come this week, might very well have had it cancelled. So I've been very lucky with the weather as much as everything else. But I'm walking this way down the prom tonight. One of the reasons being that I'm heading for the official end of Llandudno, because the town does not continue all the way along the prom. Smell the sea tonight. There's a smell of seaweed too with it, which I haven't noticed this week. Now, there's a modern building over there, the venue Cumbria. There must be a conference centre, theatre, all sorts of stuff. And at the moment, probably doing very, very little, sadly. When I went into dinner, the sunlight was shining on those houses down there, right at the very end. I guess while I was having dinner, the light would have moved across the little lawn and away. But it's still quite bright over there, so you can still get an idea of how that's lit up with the sunlight at sunset. I wonder what all these numbers are for. Is it a chair? Oh yeah. Oop. These seats go right the way along the promenade. That is unusual. And this roundabout, which is a sponsored roundabout, marks the end of Llandudno and the beginning of Dawn. And over there, a very interesting looking building. I'll have a look at it without the traffic signs in the way. I can't, because there's a street light in the way the other side. You notice how it's shaped like a boat? I'm guessing I would guess it's something to do with the Sea Cadets. There's some canoes and things there. Yeah, I would say that's Sea Cadets. However, I don't propose to walk all the way down this particular promenade. I just wanted to show you where Llandudno ends and Dawn begins. I think even in the space of the week that I've been here, we've lost that much light again. Probably a good half hour's light gone in the last 7 days in the evening. So I'm going to walk back. And you see the lights of the town. And out to the pier. Mixed feelings. I've always had a great affinity with Wales. I feel at home here. Even though hardly anybody in Llandudno speaks Welsh. But I've managed to speak Welsh to a couple of people. One of them was English and he didn't like it very much. So it's not all been a wasted episode, and I've done my best to speak a little Welsh. Not very well, but the best I can do, introducing various trips and what have you. So back to reality tomorrow. Remember me talking about, I wondered where these new buildings are going. Well, I'll try and take a still picture of it on the way out tomorrow. There's a building called the Links Hotel. I'm wondering if there was a golf links there behind the promenade. It's an unusual name, usually associated with a golf course. So we'll take a look at that. Yes, very, very quiet along the prom. I think if there's any chance of easing COVID, I think the next time there'll be a lot of activity here will be for the turkey and tinsels in November, December, if Wales isn't still in lockdown. Nice that the wind has died down a bit, so I'm going to have a last pan around as darkness falls on the North Wales coast. I bid you all no star.